Hey. Welcome to the Shake Up with Dr. Francis from Love and Marriage Huntsville, aka Dr. Kid. This is your 6 o'clock shake up time. You know how we do it when you mix your favorite juice and all that stuff settled at the bottom. You shake it up, everything just goes all over, and you get the real sweet, juicy stuff come out. Relationships are like that. And so that's why we're just doing the shake up here tonight with Dr. Kit. We got a good show for you here tonight, really good show. We have an interesting person who is going to talk your head off, so you better be ready for this. All right, but just to let you know, listen, if you want to be a part of this show, just check on Dr. Kit Speaks at gmail.com. Dr. Kit Speaks at gmail.com to be considered for to be a part of future shows, okay? So, and we want you to come on this because this is not airing dirty laundry. This is talking about some real life stuff. Like everybody got some of this, what we're talking about. So we touch everything on everybody's lifestyle. Okay, so Dr. Kid Speaks at gmail.com. And as we go through this, listen, we want you to like. Even if you don't like me, hey, that's fine. Just like the show because you'll be liking the other people. Like, follow, share, subscribe. Like, follow, share, subscribe, like, follow, share. See, I'm trying to get a recording contract. Like, share, what is it? Like, follow, share, subscribe. Oh, I'm good. Okay, so now you know. This is a crazy place to be, but you get some really good stuff. Okay, so tonight I have a really good show for you. We have a good person here who's going to talk us through some very important issues in her life. But I will guarantee you this, whatever she's saying tonight, it's going to touch somebody's life out there. Now, that's a guarantee. I take that to the bank because I know it. All right, so at this time, I'm going to bring her on, and she is going to introduce herself. She's going to give you her name. Look at her sitting there all looking, trying to look all nice. Yeah, but, don't let that smile fool you. Hey, don't let that smile fool you. And this is my friend. Her name is, go ahead and tell us. You know what? I don't want to mess your name up. One of the worst things that can happen is to have somebody mess your name up in public. So you go ahead and do it.
Do you even know my name? Which one?
Listen, how many you got? Give us everything you got. Okay.
It's numerous as the sands on the beach. That's not true.
Now that sounds kind of biblical to me.
It's biblical. Good evening, Dr. Kit.
Good evening, Betty. How are you?
I'm happy.
Good to see you. You're looking well tonight.
I'm in my good spot.
In your good spot. And I just want to welcome you to the Shake Up tonight, okay? It's a pleasure. And I know that you have a lot of good stuff, a lot of good information that you're going to be sharing. Like I said, before you came online, that the things that you're going to say tonight, it's going to touch somebody. I mean, it's going to be meaningful to somebody. And I know that for a fact. So we're going to go right ahead and, just introduce yourself, just tell us a little bit of something about yourself. And then we're going to get right into some of the areas that we're going to talk about tonight. Okay. Go right ahead.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Betty Jo Andrews Malone. That's
a lot of names. That's a lot of names for one person.
This year. I am happily retired. I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm 72 years old.
Now you need to stop. You need
soon to be 73. I'm going to claim all of my wisdom here, and just happy to be alive. I'm a native Huntsvillian. Right. Those are rare these days.
Very rare. Very rare.
Born in Meridianville, Alabama. just right up the road.
All right.
Um, Family of 8. Had 6 children, 4 boys, 2 girls. The daughter of a sharecropper.
Oh,
If you know anything about that, does anybody know what a sharecropper is? And for many years, and my mom and my dad, 4 brothers and my sister, um, just grew up here. Anything you want to know about Huntsville, just see me. I'll be your Uber driver.
and you're the Google for Huntsville, right? Just go Betty Malone. She'll tell you.
Yes, yes. Just glad to be here. Had humble beginnings, and I'm gonna have an humble finish. Um, Professionally, I retired in 2021 from Huntsville Hospital. Worked there for 50 years.
Ooh.
1971, I started working there as a unit secretary, transcribing physician's orders. And as life goes, the dollar and I mean, what did I make? $1.85 an hour that I started just wasn't gonna make it after you have kids and all of those things. So I went back to school and got my nursing degree at Calhoun College, and got my associate's degree and started nursing in 1984. And from that till 2021, December 2021, I took them through the 3 years of the pandemic. And December 15th, 2021, I said, "C'est la vie.
Oh,
Can't do it no more."
enough is enough.
Yeah, we were in the trenches. It was really, really hard. I'd never seen anything like that before in my life. Never want to see it again.
All right.
Yeah, but it was also a blessing, because there's no greater mission than being at the bedside and being able to give a healing touch.
Yeah.
And in that pandemic, people couldn't be with their families. People were dying without their relatives. I was their relative. We were their relatives.
Yeah.
So at many bedsides, you were the last voice that they heard.
Right.
So it mentally, I was telling my choir members, I said I was mentally done, because it took so much out of you. You had to give so much, and there was necessarily no avenue for you to get your cup filled back up. So I was running on empty, and all my tires were flat. But it was a blessing in disguise. It was hard, but and I don't think the people outside grasp how horrible it was when you see 10, 15 people die in one night, when on average you may only see 1 or 2. And you're coding 4 people at one time. So it's like war. It's a war zone.
All right. All right.
At any rate, that's me.
That's that part of you. Okay.
That's how I got started. That's how I ended.
All right.
But
So listen, you
ask me some questions.
The Google Huntsville want to get some questions. Listen, since you said that, listen, and as life would have it, you grew up and you got married.
I did.
Okay, so did you want to talk about that?
No.
No,
but I will.
but you will.
But I will.
Yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you do it all wrong until you get it right. You hope. But yeah, I married in 1970. Had a son, my oldest son. You know my oldest son.
Yeah, I know your oldest.
The Huntsville's HPD's finest, and he was my firstborn, August 8th, 70, and it's been a wonderful trip with him.
Mm.
It has. Got married and kept working.
They're working. So
Kept working, but
okay, so listen. Um, so you got married, and your goal of getting married was what? Did you have any particular goals? You know, some people say, "Man, I want to get married for this,
you
I want
want
to get married for that." You know, what would have been any of your goals for getting married? You know, the pleasures of marriage. Some people call it the pleasures of marriage.
you really want to know the truth?
Well, I wouldn't have you on if it wasn't for the truth, baby.
Okay, the backstory to this is that it was a shotgun wedding. Unfortunately.
Okay.
My mother-in-law got me, in fact, my mother-in-law got me the job at Huntsville Hospital. And she passed, what, last year? Last year before last. And she was 90 years old. And you asked me about extended family at some point.
Yeah,
I kept my families,
yeah.
you know. I had a wonderful extended family. Love them to death. Didn't get a husband, but I got great family.
You got a great family.
Great.
So when you said you had a great extended family, like what was the interaction like for you? I mean,
like I said, we didn't do it right. We didn't do it biblically. We didn't follow he was not saved. I was, but I was not following the commandments. That's why I say follow that word. I can say today it's been a long, hard journey, and we make our lives difficult because we don't follow the laws of God. There's a reason for those commandments, and it keeps you not only safe, but it keeps you secure. And if I could have, I always said, Lord, why didn't you give me this sense when I was 18 years old? And while my body was all in good shape, he flips it. You get all this wisdom when you can't do a whole lot physically.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? But that's the way he planned it. And had I listened to instructions from my mom, and life would have been so much easier. But you know what? I wouldn't trade, as hard as it was, as abusive as it was, I wouldn't trade it. The lessons that I learned on that journey for nothing, because I wouldn't be the person that I am today had I not experienced those things.
Okay, so you're saying the quality of your marriage helped you to grow to be the kind of a person that you are.
Exactly.
That's what you're talking about. So was there a point when you had the kind of feeling that, wait a minute, this is not working like I wanted it to work, or I planned to work? Was there a point when you kind of realized that in your marriage? Are you able to talk about that?
Yeah, there were a lot of points. Oh, you're gonna make me cry now, because it's the pain of the memories.
Mm-hmm.
Never really leave you. Uh, the night I thought about swallowing a bunch of pills, and that 18-month-old child over there kept me from doing that because I had something to live for. That keeps you going. And today I'll call him number one son. And the other one, I'll tell him number one son also. But don't tell your brother that I call you number one son. Had it not been for him. You've heard that song?
You're singing
There
now.
wouldn't be any sun to shine. But I never, you know what? I never let go of God. The hardships, the abusiveness, the pain, the emptiness, the heartaches. I never let go of God. We, you know, I kept serving God. And that was one of the things that brought out a lot of the anger in my husband. He said that you church going woman, you think you better than I am. And I said, no, I'm not. I don't think that at all. And I said, you can be better. You can be somebody different. You can be, we can do this if you just, if you want it. You can have and you can be and you can do whatever your heart desires, but you got to have a heart for it and you got to make some changes. But needless to say, 3 separations, I was done. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. I'm done.
So let me ask you this though, but like we don't get married to say, listen, if it don't work, like 3 strikes, you're out.
Mm-mm.
But there had to be, I'm thinking that there's some level of disappointment at some point.
You think?
And the disappointment came with some pain, some loss of the self and loss of the connectivity between. Can you talk about that piece? Because and I want to say this like right here. You're very courageous to be able to just come and talk like this because by you talking like this, you are touching the lives of like thousands, millions of people that could have been watching this, that could hear this and get a different view of who they are. So can you talk about that disappointment and the pain that's associated with it?
I'm not courageous, first of all. It scares me to death
Yeah.
to think that I won't serve this forum like I need to because I can't. I don't want to get into particulars, but it just say it's gruesome. If I could write a book about it, it would be a bestseller. But there's so many stories out there just like mine, women and men that are in abusive situations because women abuse too. We know that. The journey was a lot of physical abuse, a lot of verbal abuse, gun held to my head, threats, but God. So
So you're saying that the Lord, the Lord took you.
Lord protected me. He
So,
protected me.
so what I'm hearing is that you are a woman of strong faith and conviction, and you
Mhm.
said that He protected you because. So are you saying also when that night you're going to take those pills, God was there, talking to you, Betty?
It was, I had them in my hand,
You did.
but I just didn't have the right stuff. I took 12 of them because I was trying to get some sleep. I couldn't go to sleep, but I took 12. It just wasn't the right stuff. It just made me sick at my stomach.
Now, Betty, let me say this here.
I know you never knew that.
No, I didn't. I didn't know
I
that.
know.
Now, was that before you were a nurse?
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. That was way before I was a nurse.
So this has been
This was
kind of a
this was
childhood then, I guess. Huh?
this was like the second year of the marriage.
Okay.
And but I knew I had to. A lot of people don't leave because they're afraid, but you have to get over your fears and you have to get out. You have to save yourself. You have to save your children because children of abusers, if they live with them, they become abusers. Hurt people hurt people. Now, I've forgiven him. Yes. Um, since he's moved back to Huntsville, I've forgiven him. And I just said, Father, forgive him, for he knew not what he was doing. He was um, hurting people out of being hurt himself. And when you're raised with abuse, and no matter what form, um, you're gonna do it. You're gonna have tendencies to do it. Everybody won't do it, but you'll have tendencies to do it.
Yeah.
And I had to save my child,
Okay.
get him away from that. And guess, you know what he did? He did a total 360, and he's a cop. He is to the bone, a popo. And
You mean to this day? To this day?
to this day, he's been in it about almost 30 years now, about 20, about 25, close to 29 years. He's a policeman. He is an investigator now. He was patrolman for years, and now he's an investigator.
Wow.
Love my Chucky. Oh, I call his name.
You gotta call his name. Oh,
Love that baby.
yeah.
But yeah, the journey was rough, and I don't like divorce, but hey, when you don't do it right and you die trying, you can't. I'm like, I just can't go out like this. That's not my destiny. That's not what God had planned for me. Because Jeremiah says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you. You
Okay,
know?
that's what Jeremiah says, and of course, that's what the Bible is saying. But what happens sometimes when what you think God has for you, or God is not being available to you, or God is not answering? What do you do then? I mean, because there are a lot of people who may be thinking like that, who may have experienced some of that. So, what do you tell them when they say, "Listen, God"?
When you're rebellious and you don't do what thus saith the Lord, when you stray, when you become unruly, when you don't do what your parents say do.
Okay.
My mama said. And when you don't pay attention to what's being taught to you, because I was taught that I was young, party animal. That was my party buddy.
Okay.
Never meant to be my husband.
Okay.
That's what that journey was about. So
You know what though, Betty? I've known I've known of situations where the abuser was a pastor, and his wife was the first lady of the church.
I
What do
believe
you know? How
it
do you?
happens.
Yeah, it happens. So it's not just people who have turned their backs on the Lord
Mm-mm.
go
They
into
beat
church.
their wives and go right on and preaching in the pulpit. I know them. I know some also.
You know some also.
Yes, it's sad. It is sad. If Jesus don't come soon, it's sad. He
Right,
said he'd give them over to a reprobate mind, and that's exactly what's happening. The world is in chaos.
right. And the
It-
reason I asked that question, I brought this up about pastors because some people may be out there saying, just what I was saying. But my husband was or is a pastor, and I'm just like a punching bag around here. And they might ask the question, well, where is God when this man of God is doing this to me? What do I do? What do
God
I
is
do?
right where he's always been.
Okay.
She should know he's always where. He does not make people not hurt people. He gives them choices. They choose to do that. Why should she ask where is God? God is where he's always been. You
Yeah,
know?
but that the reason, but so we're having this conversation, you and I. But when people are in pain,
I know.
the one thing that is closest to a person when they're in pain is their pain, not
That's right.
intellectual things or spiritual things. I need to escape from this even at this moment. They may say, God, where are you? But I need to get out of this. God, where are you? I want you to come and be here with me, like right at this moment. And then you know what? Like the story of Mary and Martha and Lazarus. Jesus shows up, days later, 4 days later, and the person is getting whooped up one side and down the other like today. And it is a man of the cloth in from the pulpit. So how do they say? Do they say, well, I made a mistake? What?
I never asked God why,
Okay.
because I knew why. When I was 7 years old, and every morning I'd get on the school bus, my bus driver was the pastor of the church that I joined when I was 22 years old. Okay. But when I was 7, Uncle Willie drove the school bus. When the last child got on the school bus, he had me to read every morning the 51st Psalm. Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness. I read the 51st Psalm every morning on the bus. I'm getting abused at 22. I know why. That was not a union made, not blessed by God, not made by God. We ain't asked God to come into it. I got pregnant, and our mothers, who were the mothers of the church, because it wouldn't look right. What will the church think? What will the people think? I could give a flip about what people thought. I knew we didn't need to do that. We both begged not to. But
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
anyway.
Let me ask you this. Did any of the mothers of the church come and put their arms around you and try to be supportive?
Really, Kit. Really.
But
Really,
that's what mothers of the church are supposed to do, though, to come and galvanize you.
Kit.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so let me say this.
This is what happens too many times.
Okay.
yes, we get ourselves in these situations. Yes, we do. Is there really any true counseling going on? You know, I know there is in some places. I know there is at your church. I know they are. They really own the job over there. Yes, I know they are. But no, because that was our problem, and we had to. This is 1970, and they're not really organized like that.
Okay.
To do, nobody was really doing any counseling. Nobody was really doing any. If they did, I didn't know anything about it.
Okay.
Whispering about you, dragging your name through the mud. Yes. Oh, yes. But no. And you know what? I'm not blaming them. They didn't know. They didn't know. And you know, when we were growing up in church, the only person that carried a Bible was the minister. And we had the Sunday school books. Yes, we had those. And I could read them from cover to cover. I knew all the stories of the Bible. Yes, yes, yes. But you grow up and you get with the in crowd and you mess up your life. But God.
Right. But God.
You got to have sense enough to come back. That's your saving grace. You got to have some. When my kids had children, I've got 4 grandsons. I've got 2 sons and 4 grandsons. I kept my constant word to them is, they're going to grow up. Just teach them the right thing. They're going to grow up. They're going to do some stupid stuff. They're going to stray. They're going to try this. They're going to hang out with their friends and do the wrong thing. But they're going to grow up. And guess what? I got 2 22-year-old grandsons. They grew up. One is in at UAH. Should be getting his degree in biochemistry. I hope. And the other one is in. He went to nursing school initially. I think he did 2 years nursing school. Then he joined the Air Force, unbeknownst to us. And of course, my son was, "Why did he tell us to do?" I said, "Do you remember that boy that graduated from high school in 83? Yeah, 93, and had joined the Navy without telling his mama. I'm trying to get him to schools. We got to do visits. We need to apply for scholarships and blah, blah, blah." And he and 5 of his friends had joined the Navy. But you know what? That was the best thing he could have done for his life.
Okay.
Direction.
All right.
It gave him direction. It gave him a base. It gave him a foundation for his job, his education. And I love my daughter-in-law because when I first met her, I said, "That's your wife." He knew what to look for. So,
now,
anyway.
I know you and I talked some about the church's position, in cases like yours. So we say, listen, the church mother didn't do what they're supposed to do. Well, it's just so, listen, you did what you were not supposed to do. They did not do what they were supposed to do. Neither one of those make it right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the issue. But there is the shepherd of the flock, the pastor of the church. What did he do? And what do you think they're doing right now? And what do you think pastors and the church, what role do you think they should have, when young people get into that same kind of situation like you did?
Well, of course, learning and instruction starts at home. It starts at home and goes out.
Okay. All right.
And there really should be some, I've got a lot of young girls that are my friends. In fact, I got a lot of more young friends than I have old friends, because I'll tell them in a minute, don't do this like I did. Do better. There's more. You have to. If there's no formal avenue for young people at church, and there are programs. It's at our church as Passage that they do instruct, but I don't know what happens when they get to be teenagers. They just kind of go off on a tangent, just like I did. But they've got the foundation.
Right.
If you get the foundation in them, you see them come back. If God lets them survive and not make too bad of decisions, they'll make it. The best advice I would give the people in abusive relationships: try to seek counseling. First of all, it's hard. It's so hard to get black men to go to counseling. Hard. I don't need anybody to tell me what to do about my life. This is, I've tried it, and but if it's physically abusive to the point that your life is about to be snuffed out, like mine was 2 or 3 times, get out, because you're dying it's not worth dying for. And get your children out. And if you disobey God's law, bottom line, that's what we did. Disobeyed God's law, unequally yoked, did all the wrong things. And this is the result. This is the result. We see it in the Bible over and over and over again. This is the result of it.
But Betty, hold on. But I also see in the Bible where God is a forgiving God.
He's very forgiving.
So do you think that you were being punished, or God punished other people who does not necessarily start on a spiritual foundation, or is God able to forgive if we ask?
I wasn't being punished. I was reaping the consequences of my decisions.
Okay, all right.
I tell my kids all the time, every problem has about 6 or 7 solutions. Pick your consequence. Which ones can you live with? Okay. You're right, Adrian. There is a lesson in every journey. And I've learned. Right. I've learned how to live holy. Don't get me started singing.
No.
I've learned how to live right. I've learned how to suffer. For if I suffer, I'll gain eternal life. But when I see Jesus, amen. When I see the man who died for me, I don't mean to go churchy on you, but I know where my salvation lies. I know what brought me through. It's been a journey, but I didn't have to take all them detours. I could have went straight down the line like my wonderful sister. My sister is so nice. She did everything by the book. And I would pray. I used to pray, Lord, give me a spirit like my sister. She's such a quiet spirit. She's got such a loving spirit. Keep her in your prayers. Her husband has Alzheimer's and she's taking care of him. She is a saint.
Okay.
In my eyesight.
All right. Well, listen. Let me ask you this question here. So you got divorced, and you were raising two boys.
Oh, I remarried. You skipped that. I remarried after 8 years.
Well, I didn't skip that. You didn't talk about that.
I know. I just popped another baby out on you and didn't tell you where it came from. No, I remarried in 74, 75, latter part. Anyway, had another boy. He is 40. You know my son, Mark. He knows Michael. Yeah. He's my youngest. I married the pastor's nephew.
Oh, you did?
The deacon in the church. That was supposed to stick, right? That was it.
Well, from a biblical perspective, yes. But you know what, though?
What was that question you just asked me a while ago? What about the pastor who's abusing his wife? Well, the deacons do it too, man.
Okay.
And that's all I got to say about that.
All right.
I don't want to get sued for defamation of character.
Just as long as you don't call no names, right?
Trump, I ain't calling no names. But yeah.
But listen. Let me ask you this though, because I really want you to address this here. Divorced, raising two boys, two males. There is this myth out there somewhere that's saying that single mothers cannot raise boys to become men. You know, but you went through that. So can you talk about what it was like for you? And I'm not talking anybody else. I'm talking about you. When you slap yourself, you say, "This is Betty." Yeah. Can you talk about that experience of raising two boys?
Two boys.
You know, in the home, you have to be mama and everything else. Go ahead.
God did a wonderful thing. He gave me sons. Because if he'd give me girls, they'd probably been just like me, and I would have been like my mama. I'd have just wrung the neck. But yes, you can. This myth about women can't raise sons. That is all it is, a myth. You have to lay the foundation. They used to complain all the time, "You don't never let us go anywhere or be with anybody or hang out with anybody but the children at church." Yes. But it can be done. But I think boys are easier to raise than girls. They're less expensive for one thing. Don't get mad at me, people who have girls. But that's just my take on it. And that's just probably because I had boys. And I can say that. But it's how we had such a good relationship. We did everything together. I grew up with them. Because I'm, 19? Just turned 20 when I had the first one. And I was 25, 26 when I had the second one. We played softball with a softball league here. We did tournaments. They played ball with me. I got them to school. I'm nursing when I started nursing, I worked nights so that I could get them to school. I changed my schedule as they grew. I changed my schedule so I could be with them. Lived with my mother for years, about, God, I guess about 10 years, I guess, after the second divorce. Because that was, when you talk about my support, it takes a village. My sister, my friends, my church, the men at my church were great. My brother-in-law, who now has Alzheimer's, took them under the wings. My second husband's brother was like a father, and still is to this day, my son's best confidant. The older son, his uncle was on point for him. So I had my two extended families will always be in my heart and in my life. I've nourished them. I've taken care of them when they got sick. Both my in-laws passed. Both sets. I helped take care of them. I helped medically, just there for them because they were there for my kids. And
so let
a
me
lot
ask.
of people burn bridges when they divorce people. The husbands were the problem. the parents. Well, now you can get some in-laws that are really, but mine were wonderful, and I think God put them there for me. The first set was Annie and Oscar, and the second set was Amy and Oscar.
Okay.
How about that?
How about that?
That's a God. It's a God thing.
Yeah. But let me ask you this, though. I want to ask you this. So what kind of co-parenting did you have, with you and the fathers? Were the fathers present in their lives? Were they present to the point where your sons had a good quality relationship with their father? Because even though you were doing a wonderful job, when the father is absent, a part of your sons were absent because they were actually bone of their father's bone and flesh of their father's flesh. So absent fathers mean that these children may not have a whole life experience, even though you were doing an amazing job. So how was the co-parenting, and what was the availability of the fathers in the lives of your sons?
Well, now the first one was incarcerated after we divorced. He got into drugs and other things.
Okay.
So for the better part of my son's life, he was incarcerated. I think he just got out, released 2016. So pretty much in and out. And but they have a relationship now. They got bikes together, motorcycles. They have a relationship, and we spent Thanksgiving at my sister-in-law's together. We sat at the table and ate. God is a forgiving God. We have to be forgiven too. Okay. Now I do feel some kind of way when I'm around him because I'm just not that comfortable now. He makes me feel some kind of way, but you have to you just have to, because like you say, how is God going? I expect God to forgive me, and I can't even forgive my brother who I see every day. And the second one is, he lives in Hazel Green. They have a wonderful relationship. He was here most of the time, but not to the extent that he could have been. But I just say they missed the best. They missed the best life with them boys. They're the cats. And I'm not just saying because they my children, but they are, everybody who knows them, they my guys.
Okay.
But co-parenting, I did not try to keep them away from them. I did not bad mouth them around them much. But if they ask me a question, I'm going to give you the answer. Because first of all, I mean, they were too young to remember a lot of stuff. And I'm thankful for that. And because, I said, I can't raise them around people because the abusiveness came from their fathers. That's where it comes. It's a learned behavior. It's generational curse. It's a learned behavior. You are welcome. I'm not that courageous, but I just got to put it out there. Too many people don't talk about this kind of stuff. They won't talk about it. I've tried to influence my church to, we have marriage seminars, and we have a whack at divorce. They never do divorce seminars. They're afraid everybody's going to divorce in the church. And I'm like, half of them divorcing anyway, because there's no instruction. Teach them how not to divorce. Teach them how, counsel them, and don't back up when people ask hard questions. Don't give me a scripture. Give me life things. Give me life. How do you deal with finances? How do you deal when somebody beating you up? How do you deal with infidelity? That kind of stuff. I mean, we got to talk about this stuff. The world, that's one reason the world is in the mess that it's in. People don't discuss this. Talk about it. Shake up.
Yeah. It's amazing that
Don't
that
be
you said
scared.
that.
Oh my God. I'm just.
It's amazing that you said that because I find that a lot of people, will say, like you said, something's going on in the marriage. They want to open up the Bible and give them a scripture. Now,
A scripture.
the
I know the scriptures.
the Bible is great, best book on the planet. But at the same time, you're right. They really need to have somebody come by and just talk with them, let them cry, let them point them another direction, do all the things at the human level. So the human and the divine working together. I think
Yes.
makes for
Give
a
me something
approach.
relevant for
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah.
And instead of oh Lord, oh Betty divorced again. Oh, what's your name this year? And this is what I get.
Okay.
And people think they know me. They don't know me. They know of me. They don't know me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe just before we close it down, what
Is it time to go?
you enjoying this thing too much?
I'm having fun.
well, I still got another question.
This is therapeutic for me.
I know. This is what I said. Listen, you're having a whole lot of fun. But listen, what kind of a network do you have? Did you have, or you think is good for people to have?
Stick with your girls. I have a girl group for this. I got a nurse group of retirees that we get together once a month. All the retired nurses, about 17 or 20 of us. I have a group, like I say, I've got a group of girls that are in their 40s and 50s that I hang out with. They are wonderful. They take care of Granny Boo.
All
and
right.
we go to the beach together. We we just enjoy things. You gotta learn, and sickness and health they're there to support, and their kids. We're just, I mean, and then I've got groups from church. I've got church group. It's a big church with a lot of little churches in it. And people say they get lost in a big church. You got to make yourself friendly. If you want a friend, you got to make yourself friendly. You got to be friendly. You got to extend the olive branch, so to speak. It's not scary out there if you got, you got to be a friend. But a lot of people are so ashamed of where they came from and what their circumstances were and all this stuff. It's life. And everybody's got somebody like I had in my family.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
there is no shame in God.
Right. Absolutely.
There is no fear.
Right. Thank you, Betty. I know you're enjoying yourself. But let me just say this here. And you said it. Listen, we don't need to be, while I think it's one thing to have some shame for what you did that you shouldn't have done, or you should have done that you didn't do. But the one thing I want to leave with people is never be ashamed of yourself. Under no circumstances should you be ashamed of yourself. I love you. Just be honest. It's already done.
Love you, Adrian. God bless you.
Oh man, Betty, it's been my pleasure to have you on here. One of the things that I really love was your openness and your honesty, and at one point you're going to say, but if I go on there, I won't know what to say. Well, you know what? Listen.
You said, open your mouth and I'll speak for you.
You just kept on talking, didn't you? You just kept on. I mean, you're like a runaway train. You just kept on talking.
I didn't do what you said. You told me not to call them Rose name.
Oh, but Betty, it was my pleasure. It was my pleasure to have you on the show with us. Shake up. And you know what? We certainly did do a lot of shake up because you entered into some territories there tonight that I
don't look like what I've been through.
And look at you. You're a battle axe. You're a warrior. You came
I
through.
shall come forth as pure gold.
Pure gold. Listen, Ben, I'm gonna give
there's life after bad stuff.
I'm gonna give you the last word. The last word. All right. What last word would you like to leave with the viewing, listening audience today? She got her glasses on. She coming at us. Every time she put those glasses on, something's gonna happen. Okay. So,
therefore,
yes.
Do not fear them, for there is nothing covered that will not be revealed, and hidden that will not be known. Matthew 10:26. And Romans 8:28 says, and we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are the called according to his purpose. And likewise, the Spirit also helps in our weaknesses. For we do not know what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit himself makes intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. Now he who searches the hearts knows what the mind of the Spirit is, because he makes intercession for the saints according to the will of God. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creation eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of God. Romans 8:18 and 19. And that's all I got to say about that.
Listen, Betty, I really do. I really do. Thank you. and for being on. And the other thing I'm going to thank you for is just thank you for being open, but also, but even more than that, I thank you for for sharing your tears with us this evening. Just sharing your tears, because that's not manufactured stuff. You're talking about something that comes deep from the inside, like a turbulent, and then you just can't stop it from overflowing. So I really do want to thank you, and I thank you, Betty, for the message that you left, that you have given to so many people out there. You know, People out there who are suffering silently, and because of what you said, they are going to go back and say, "Yes, but God."
But
They, yes, yes, yes,
grand lady.
yeah. They're going to go back and take a good look at themselves and say, I found a sister who was my mouthpiece and who have given me some direction and some courage to move forward in my life and know that I don't have to live a substandard life. Betty, I thank you so, so, so much. The viewing, listening audience, thank you. Thank you so, so much. Be good. And now, as we go through this, I just want to thank you all so much for just hanging in there. Hanging in there. How to deal with a disconnect in a 30-year marriage? Oh my goodness! Listen. Send your questions to drkitspeaks@gmail.com. And what we will do is we will have a session where we're just answering questions, the questions that you have now and questions from previous shows. We just want to do a session where we're just answering questions, okay? But also to be considered for a part of this show. It's not that hard. Betty, she thought she was going to have to do all kind of stuff, but she just went through it and she did a fine job. So to be considered to be on a future show, email Dr. Kit Speaks, drkitspeaks@gmail.com. Dr. Kit Speaks @gmail.com. And just in case you don't know who Dr. Kit is, I'm Dr. Francis from Love and Marriage, Huntsville. Same person. But Dr. Kit is what I'm using here on the Shake-Up. Okay. So I just want to say much love to each and every one of you out there. And, just take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves, because it is so important, especially when others are dependent on you, like Betty's children were dependent on her. And she was prepared to go through the flames of fire for her children. And you heard her story. She had the pills in her hand. But when she looked at her little son, she said, I just can't do this. He needs me, and I need him to grow up to be the kind of man that he needs to be. Many of you may be at that crossroad. Many of you may have the pill in your hand. Many of you may have that drink in your hand. Many may have other type of weaponry. They're all weapons in your hand or at your disposal. Please don't do that. The world needs you. There is a position for you to fill in this world, on this world stage. If you don't do it, nobody else can do it. As a matter of fact, if there are 12 people doing the same thing, okay, no one of the 12 will do it exactly the same. Got to put your spin on life to make sure that your name is carved in the annals of time. Annals of time. So please, when you find yourself under those circumstances, like Betty said, pray. Find somebody to talk to. Talk it out. Work it through. And you will be an overcomer. With those words, I just want to say thank you. Like the show. Like the show. Subscribe to the show. Share the show. Follow the show. Like it. Follow, share, and subscribe. Like, follow, share, and subscribe. And we will see you again on the next Dr. Kit show, 1 week from today, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And that's our daylight time, I think it is right now. So we'll see you then, okay? Next week, Tuesday, same time. We're having a great show for you. So please bring somebody along with you. All right. Thanks much. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.